Attention passionate Philadelphia, EAGLES FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Philadelphia Eagles' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Philadelphia Eagles fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Philadelphia, EAGLES FANS. Let's get to the news. Now folks, if you're following the NFL closely this offseason, you know the Philadelphia Eagles are in a really unique position right now. Coming off their Super Bowl 59 victory, the atmosphere around the team is electric, but also filled with a bit of uncertainty. How do you maintain that winning edge? How do you keep the roster competitive when your stars are commanding big salaries? It's a balancing act, and the Eagles are certainly walking that tightrope. The offseason has been a whirlwind, with roster moves, strategic decisions, and a lot of questions about what the future holds. But one thing is for sure, the Eagles are not just sitting still. They're actively looking for ways to strengthen their team, especially on defense, which has always been a cornerstone of their success. Let's talk about the current roster and salary cap situation, because that's going to influence everything they do moving forward. The Eagles still have around $31 million in cap space, which sounds like a lot, right? But when you look at their dead money, close to $77 million, things get complicated. Dead money is basically the cap hit for players who are no longer on the team, but whose contracts still count against the salary cap. That's a significant number, and it limits the Eagles' flexibility to sign new players or make major moves. So in essence, they're in a position where they need to be strategic. They might need to move some contracts, shed some salary, or even trade away some players to free up space. And that's where the intrigue begins. The Eagles have several players on their roster who could potentially be on the trade block. Not because they're not talented, but because of their cap hits, team needs, or strategic rebuilds. Today, I want to focus on 4 key defensive players who could be trade candidates before the season kicks off. These aren't just random names. These are players who have contributed to the team but now find themselves in a position where a trade could benefit both sides, freeing up cap space for the Eagles and giving other teams a valuable piece to build around. First, let's talk about Jordan Davis. If you've been following the Eagles, you know Davis is a huge part of their interior defensive line. Drafted in the first round in 2022, Davis made an immediate impact with his size, athleticism, and disruptive ability. Last season, he played a significant role in bolstering the Eagles' run defense, which was already one of the best in the league. His presence alone demands attention from offensive lines, and his ability to clog running lanes is a big reason why the Eagles' defense has been so dominant. Davis's stats from 2023, 27 tackles, 3 for loss, a sack, and a couple of pass deflections, may not jump off the page, but his influence is felt in every game. However, the reality is that Davis's cap hit is projected to be around $9 million in 2026, which is not insignificant. If the Eagles decide to pursue a marquee pass rusher or want to reallocate resources elsewhere, trading Davis could be on the table. His youth and potential make him a very attractive trade chip, especially considering the depth they have at defensive tackle. Players like Jalen Carter, who's already making waves as a rookie, and Byron Young provide some competition and depth at the position. Moving Davis could free up a substantial amount of cap space and allow the Eagles to target an elite edge rusher who can change games from the outside. Now, moving over to the secondary, another interesting trade candidate is Sidney Brown. Brown made a splash in his rookie year after being taken in the 3rd round in 2023. Remember that spectacular 99-yard pick six? That was a highlight moment that put Brown on the map. Unfortunately, his rookie season was cut short by a torn ACL in Week 18, and last season, he faced some setbacks, playing only limited snaps and recording just 7 tackles. The injury really disrupted his development, and now, with the addition of rookies like Andrew Mukuba, Brown finds himself in a very competitive secondary. Despite his injury setbacks, Brown is a talented player with a lot of upside. When healthy, he's shown he can be a versatile safety with a knack for big plays. His 2025 cap number is only around $1 million, making him a low-cost, low-risk option for teams looking for depth at safety. The Eagles might test his recovery and performance in training camp, and if he doesn't stand out, they could consider trading him for a late-round pick. It's a smart move. They get some value for a player who might be on the fringe of the roster, and another team gets a young safety with potential. That's the beauty of roster management, identifying the players who can be assets in the right circumstances. And speaking of the secondary, Eli Ricks is another name to keep an eye on. Ricks, a fascinating player in his own right, came into the NFL as an undrafted free agent out of LSU and Alabama. He managed to make the Eagles roster in 2023 and has shown flashes of promise. Standing tall at 6'2", Ricks has that rare length and ball skills that teams covet in a cornerback. Over 2 seasons, he's accumulated 21 tackles and 3 pass deflections, mostly contributing on special teams and in sporadic defensive packages. His rookie season was impressive in terms of efficiency, allowing catches on only 50% of targets across more than 300 snaps, which is quite good for an undrafted rookie. What makes Ricks especially intriguing is his modest cap hit of just over $1 million in 2025. With a secondary that's becoming more competitive, featuring names like Kelly Ringo, Adoree Jackson, Mac McWilliams, and others, the Eagles might decide to move Ricks if they find an appealing trade offer. Teams like the Vikings, who have scouted him, could be interested in adding a young corner with length and ball skills. Moving Ricks in a trade could net the Eagles a late-round pick or additional future assets, helping them continue to build a flexible and competitive roster. Now, let's talk about a player who might not be as flashy, but is definitely on the radar: Thomas Booker. Booker was drafted in the 5th round in 2022 and has been a solid rotational interior defender for the Eagles. Last season, he racked up 33 tackles and won 5 sacks, providing reliable depth on the defensive line. But with the depth chart now stacked with Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Byron Young, Gabe Hall, and others, Booker's role could diminish. Releasing or trading him might open space for younger players or rookies and could save some cap room. Size-wise, Booker is a big guy, 6'3", 301 pounds, and his versatility allows him to plug into multiple spots along the defensive line. If another team needs immediate depth, he could be a target for mid-summer trades. The Eagles have shown they're not afraid to move players to optimize their roster, especially if it means acquiring draft picks or creating space for new talent. And with the NFL's ever-changing landscape, every move counts. All of these trade candidates highlight the strategic mindset of the Eagles' front office. Howie Roseman is known for his shrewdness in roster management, always looking for ways to improve the team, whether through draft picks, trades, or strategic cuts. The goal remains the same: build a team capable of competing at the highest level, especially with Super Bowl aspirations still very much alive after their recent victory. The NFC East is fierce, with teams like the Cowboys and Giants always lurking, but the Eagles have established themselves as a dominant force, and they're not planning to slow down anytime soon. Looking ahead, training camp is just around the corner, and these trade scenarios will surely be tested in practice. Players will compete for roster spots, and the coaching staff will evaluate who fits best into their championship puzzle. It's an exciting time for Eagles fans, because every move, every decision, could have long-term implications. Will they hold on to certain players or move on to create more cap flexibility? Will they target specific positions to upgrade? All of this is part of the ongoing saga that makes following the Eagles so thrilling. Plus, with the NFL constantly evolving, we can expect some surprises. The league's landscape is always shifting: new trades, unexpected developments, injuries, or breakout performances, and the Eagles are right in the middle of it. They have a talented core, but also a need to fine-tune their roster to stay at the top. The next few weeks will be crucial in shaping their strategy for this season and beyond. And as we look at the bigger picture, remember that the Eagles management isn't just thinking about the season. They're building a sustainable, winning franchise. The draft, free agency, trades, all pieces of a larger puzzle. The goal remains clear: keep pushing for that Super Bowl, keep building a team that can compete year after year, and keep the Philadelphia faithful proud. The passion runs deep in Philly, and the front office knows how much this team means to the city. So, Eagles fans, stay tuned. Keep your eyes on training camp, on roster moves, and on how the team upgrades or reshapes its roster. Every decision could be a piece of the puzzle that brings another Lombardi trophy to Philadelphia. The NFC East is hotly contested, and with the Eagles still riding the high of their recent Super Bowl win, every move they make will be scrutinized, debated, and celebrated. This offseason is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and we're here to bring you all the latest updates, analysis, and insights. Whether it's trades, signings, injuries, or strategic decisions, we'll be covering it all because you deserve the best coverage of your beloved Eagles. And now, Philadelphia Eagles fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you think the Eagles should trade any of these players? Who would you like to see stay, and who do you think might be moved? Your insights, your passion, your voice, this is what makes this community special. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Philadelphia Eagles news. This team has a bright future, and together, we're all part of this incredible journey. Fly, Eagles, fly.